The next functionality we're looking at is invoicing and billing of our students, be it on a timely basis or ad hoc basis. And we're going to start um, where we are invoicing multiple students. We can invoice a full class, we can invoice the entire school. Let's start by a situation whereby we want to be able to print invoices, at the same time also be able to bill those particular invoices. Right. We are going to do the same class which we created earlier on. Let's assume this operation was done on 17 September, and it was for third term 2025, and Form 3 East, right? So you specify here the type of student. Is it a day scholar? We'll come back to where we're going to bill an entire school, whereby you have a situation where everything is the same. Now remember, we're currently logged in as an STC user. So we have set up the revenue earners to be STC levy and bus levy. They will vary depending on the school. But for example, if I go to SSF user and I were to do the same thing and go to create invoices, you see that you now have different revenue earners. For example, you have tuition fees, boarding fees, practical fees, science. So this is a setup that a school will actually determine to say, in our school, we have bus levy, we have this, and it will be set up, right? So in this case, we only have two revenue earners for the STC department, right? So this is for the day scholars. Say, for example, here, STC levy is, let's say, it's $50 and a bus levy of $15 a term. Right. Once we have this, you would then click save. So this term is very important because it's the term on which you are billing for. Right. We can say save. And once we save, it will create the entry there and to show that it has been created, but it has not been posted. Unlike this one which I had done earlier on, it was created and is also what? Posted. I can no longer remove this particular one because it has been what? Been posted. However, I am still able to remove this particular invoicing because I have not posted that to the student's account, right? So I'll go in that, and then it will show me it has created a list for all those students who are actually going to be invoiced. Remember, there was $50 STC and $15 bus levy. So it shows there. As you can see, there are only four students here. Remember, our students, we have got these two here. We later on changed them to borders. So we've got basically 4-day students. We have basically 4-day students. You can even recheck it here. We have got one, two, three, 4-day students. These are the ones which actually are able, we are seeing being shown here, right? So once we have this, all I can simply do is click post, and then it will ask you, are you sure? Then you say yes. It has posted these entries to this particular student's account. I can no longer post here. It is already blocked such that I can not make a mistake and actually post twice. Right. I'm able at this point to print invoices for distribution to the students. Right. For example, it's going to show that this is the this is the student um, pupil's name, the address, the term, and also the invoice for. So there'll actually be two on a page. Like we've got two here, which you can then print on in an A4 and then cut there and distribute to the students. So this is for the what? This is for the invoices, isn't it? Right. Let me take one of the students, Daniel Kumalo. Right. So if I go into here and look for the student, Daniel, and search for Daniel, and come here under STA account, it's going to show that Daniel has been billed for STA levy and bus levy of 15 and 50 and 15, making his balance 65 at this particular moment. Under tuition, there's currently nothing. I had a student who I changed to a border. If I go here and I say Victor, and I come into Victor, if I go into Victor, you're going to see that there's currently nothing because the only students that we billed at that time were the day students, right? So this is one way of actually what billing your students at the beginning of the term. Another way is a situation whereby it's only individual students that you actually what billing, right? Um, for example, um, let's say, for example, I only want to bill Victor, Victor Nyika. Let's say, for example, as he's starting here, the balance of $16, and this balance is a balance that came in coming from second term 2025, and it was for ST. Well, because the balance comes in sometimes being a bulk figure, you can actually put it under balance brought forward. Then I can click add. I can also take another student. Let me take Daniel. Daniel Kumalo 3 East, and say he also had a balance of $60 of 60, let me say $40, and it was also coming in as third term balance brought forward. I'll click it. So I can insert single bills. For example, in this case, this was for balance brought forward. Or let's say a new student has come in during the term when other students had been billed, then it can be billed separately, right? Once I have this here, I can then click process bills. Then I can say yes, right? Now, if I go and open Victor now, Victor, you will see that it now has a bill, which is a balance brought forward, because it was a single entry that was done for that. But if I come here and I look for Daniel, whom we earlier on billed as a day student, and I come here, you're going to see he now has a balance brought forward of $40. Although this was supposed to obviously be done first, but for the demonstration purposes, we're just doing it later on, right? So this is billing. You can also bill an entire school. Let's say, for example, you know that all the fees of students, of particular students, or let's say there's a new, there's a new, during the term, the school then decided that there was going to be something that would be, let's say all students are supposed to pay practical fees, are supposed to pay for practicals an amount of $10 for the term 2025. I can say bill all students. Now, when I say bill all students, it's basically going to take all students, regardless of who you are, and include you in that particular bill, right? So when I come in here, right, you see it brought all my students. I have 20 active students in third term 2025. So I will simply click post and then I'll say yes. This will bill all the students with that $10, right? So let me go back to my example student. I think I've got Daniel. I've got Daniel. If I come to Daniel here, you're going to see that the practicals has been actually been billed to all the students, and it's actually reflecting that now Daniel is owing what? $115. Right? Now, the billing has been made so that it's quite easy and you can easily do it quickly and actually distribute your invoices if you need to distribute them at the end of the term.